So do you want the truth or you just want to feel like you're right? That is something that we all fall into. And it's pretty easy. And I've been talking about this lately in a few other videos that I've been creating about authority bias and about spending more time focused upon the rivals and the competitors and proving them wrong than actually playing the game or solving the problem. But this one goes a little bit further. Is there's this idea that sometimes we say that we want the truth, but in actuality, what we really want is we want the feeling of being right. And and that can really diminish our problem solving, our gameplay, our truth seeking in a lot of interesting ways. And there's some obvious reasons for this. One is just that there's a comfort to it. Affirmation feels really good. If you say something and you want to, you want to be right, or if you convince yourself that you're right, it feels good to be in the right. But when you're trying to solve real problems and you're actually seeking that feeling of being right more than actually seeking the truth, this can lead to all sorts of fascinating cognitive biases and all sorts of fascinating rationalizations. I see conspiracy theories begin to emerge out of this. So I feel so good about my solve or my solution, my understanding of this. And it's so right that whenever I test it with reality, like say I'm on an actual treasure hunt and I'm convinced it's here and I go and I look and it's not there, that when I actually test it with reality, I'm so hooked on being right that I won't face the reality that my idea didn't pan out. So what I do is I change the story that can allow me to still feel like I'm right. Like I saw it, it was irrefutable. There were so many connections that came together that it would just be illogical for me to believe that it was anywhere else. And so it has to be here. And if it's not here, then it definitely isn't me. I'm not the issue. The issue is that the treasure was never hidden. It's a scam. It's a conspiracy. It's actually just a money-making scheme. Or someone else already found it, but they're not telling anyone else about it. Or you can come up with all sorts of fascinating conspiracies because it feels really good to feel like we're right, and we've put a lot of time and energy into a certain way of thinking, and we get stuck. Just keep in mind that that wanting to be right can keep us circling the same ground over and over until we just convince ourselves that there is no truth to be found, rather than just accepting the fact that we got feedback on our theory and it didn't pan out. And what's also fascinating to me, though, is that sometimes people will attempt, especially even on actual treasure hunts, like the John Collins Black, There's Treasure Inside Treasure Hunt. I've seen and heard about people who have a possible region or area where they think one of the treasures might be located, and they go and they spend maybe an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or maybe even just a day, 7 or 8 hours searching in that area, and they don't find it. And then they walk away and they're convinced that it's a scam or there's something wrong, there's something not quite right about this treasure hunt when they only spent 8 hours. I mean, when you're actually out there, boots on the ground in a region, say even a quarter-mile space, 8 hours is not a lot of time to do searching. It may take much more time than that. You may have to go back multiple times to look around and leave no stone unturned. And yet that's a lot of work to validate your claim. And so another thing that happens is that people are not very systematic in their search. And so it's a more kind of haphazard search. And it's actually akin, you've probably done this yourself in your own home, or you've even seen, if you have kids or when you were a kid, you've seen this happen where maybe you look and you're kind of emotional and attached to where you think it is. And you look in this one room and you look all over all over, everywhere. You have looked in every single place, and you're telling someone, a family member or a friend, I've looked everywhere. It is not here. And then the family member or friend says, well, did you look right there? Because I see them sitting on the counter. Or did you look right there? Or did you look in the room next door? Or something like that. And it actually causes almost like an anger or an outrage, kind of frustration, because they had convinced themselves, I've done it all. I'm right. It's just that it is wrong. It's in the wrong place. It's not really there. It's been taken. It's been stolen. Some other solution. So this really ties into the idea that problem solving, wisdom seeking, truth seeking, and literal and metaphorical treasure hunting requires that we let go of our ego. It requires that you cannot serve your pride and the truth at the same time. You can't pursue both of those at the same time successfully most of the time. That we have to set our pride aside and realize that discovering the truth is the main goal. It's not about me being right. If someone else has a better idea than me, great. Maybe I didn't look enough places. Treat it with a measure of humility and of seriousness, and acknowledge that truth-seeking often entails going down a lot of paths that end up being dead ends. That is how it works. You try lots and lots of things over and over again. You come up with your perfect theory or idea, and it just doesn't always pan out. And that is not a sign to give up, and that's not always a sign that it's a conspiracy. It's just a sign that maybe you didn't get it right yet. Keep trying. With time, careful thinking, clear thinking, maybe a little collaboration and effort, it can be discovered. I hope you find this useful. I look forward to your comments.